Welcome to the Desire Over Doubt Show, coming to you from Savannah, Georgia, with your hosts, elite and international elite lifters, Nate Korpusic and Savage Cat.
All right, this is the official start of the Desire Over Doubt Show, our empowerment series. This would be episode number 3. We've done about 4 takes to try and get the audio correct. Bottom line is we need some better equipment, which is located about 50 feet away, and we were just too lazy to connect it, I guess, today. Would that be accurate? That's accurate. Anyways, I am Nate Korpusic, and with me as always is
Savage Cat.
Savage Cat. And what are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about why you are not seeing results.
And why aren't you seeing results?
Well, that's the whole topic of the podcast. So let's just jump right in.
Dive right in. Well, give me, I guess, the first thing that we were discussing off camera before we got into this was reasons why you wouldn't be seeing results. Number 1 being
inconsistency. So when we talk about results, that could mean a number of different things. Primarily an increase in strength, which is our sport basically, and then a change in aesthetics, which is usually accompanied by, taking on a training regimen or a dietary change, something like that. So for the purpose of the podcast, we're talking about change in both of those aspects, not just aesthetic changes.
I mean, it would even be fair to say that some people, I think a lot of people do think of changes as an aesthetic thing, when you're right. In a lot of instances, that's not necessarily what people are going for. I know, like you said, in our sport, primarily we're going for strength. That's going to look a little bit different than somebody who's in the bodybuilding world or who's in the CrossFit world. And everybody should have different goals, and you might not see results for different reasons, but there's one gigantic reason. And that's that you're just simply not doing it or not doing enough, and you keep telling yourself you are. Right. Or maybe you and your support system. I mean, let's just lay it out there. Let's just be honest. I mean, showing up sometimes just isn't enough, right?
Correct.
And there's this huge movement out there online, and you see it of people being like, "Well, I made it to the gym. At least I got here." And it's like this. It's not at least. You got there, great. You can get further,
Yeah. And there's the difference too, like we just talked about with, if you're doing some type of specific sport, you need to make sure that you're doing skill practice while you're at the gym. So in our case, powerlifting, it's not enough to just show up at the gym and be like, well, at least I did my accessory work, or at least I did my main movement. That's just not enough. You're not going to build that supporting structure of your body that you need after doing one of the big 3 if you're missing out on your accessories. And then if you're only doing your accessories because you don't have the energy to practice the big 3, then you're missing out on your skill work. Boom. Yep. Not going to see the results that you want.
And we see it all the time. You start to see your beginner lifters that will make immediate gains in the gym, and then they, maybe they don't go as often or whatever, and they still make some gains. And that's, there is such a thing as beginner gains because you've gone from doing nothing to something.
Well, it's a crazy stimulus on your body if you think about it versus somebody who's, like me or you has been training for 10 plus years. We have to, not necessarily be figuring out new ways to stimulate our body, because it's kind of like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, which we'll get into in a little while. But usually if you're a new person, never done any type of strength training or resistance training before, you can just throw something at the wall and it's going to stick and you're going to see a result.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the caveat to that is, we talked about this in the podcast prior, but when you have a program, you got to at least give it the amount of time necessary. And that's another reason why you might not be seeing the results that you desire to see, is because you're not taking any program to completion.
Right. You just haven't been doing it for long enough, bottom line.
And I think you see a lot of what we call program hoppers, or even coach jumpers, that'll do a couple of weeks and not see anything or not see what they want. So they think that the grass is greener on the other side.
Right.
And if you want to go back to one of our previous podcasts, I believe that podcast is actually called The Grass is Greener. And so we won't actually dive back into that now. But I do think it is important to at least bring up because the grass is not greener. There is no grass if you don't finish the program. You got to give it some time.
Seriously.
It's just, you hear it all the time. People are like, well, this isn't working. And so I'm going to go try this. I'm going to go try that. And next thing you know, they've tried 6 different things. And yeah, you're just spinning your wheels, in my opinion, at that point.
Yeah. It's also another thing to, like, if something's not working with regards to communication and the communication aspect of you and the coach that you chose or the trainer that you chose, that's kind of a different story. Sure. But chances are the program that they wrote for you is still going to be a good and effective program if you follow through with it. They could be the worst coach in the world, but they might know how to write a killer program. If you follow that program to completion, you're going to be stronger. You're going to see some aesthetic gains.
Absolutely.
As long as you've got other things in your life in check.
And what would those other things be?
Well, nutrition.
What else?
Sleep. Stress management.
I think all those. I think people overlook that all the time, especially when we're younger. We just want to go, and then it might take somebody to grab you by the neck and go, "Hey, slow down a little bit." We've seen it in ourselves and our own clients. Obviously, I think sleep, especially,
it's a huge one.
It's a huge one. If you're going to take any sport seriously, you're gonna have to get your rest. It's just as important as the workout and nutrition.
Yeah,
it's another side of the equation there.
So that's the recovery side.
Right.
So you might not be seeing results in strength or aesthetics because you're actually not recovering from what you're doing in the gym, and that goes back to that whole like no pain, no gain. I'll sleep when I'm dead, and all this other stupid shit that used to be really popular. That people would say, like, oh, you're not hardcore unless you're doing burpees until you puke. Like, no.
That's just not necessary.
It's just not necessary.
It's just not necessary
to see results. It does not make you any more of a badass.
Because your badasses are sleeping.
Right. Your badasses are like, I'm going to facilitate recovery in any way that I can.
They're the ones that have learned. I mean, it's that. I guess that's another reason why, people don't see results is if you want to, I guess we could look at it like a triangle. 3 sides. You've got your training aspect, your nutrition aspect, and your sleep aspect are what I would consider to be the 3 main things in seeing your gains in your chosen sport. So if you remove any one of those, you no longer have a complete triangle. And if you don't have that complete triangle, then you're not going to see the results. And I think if you just remove any one of those, you're in trouble. It's not. You might be able to get along for a little while without sleep, but not in the long run.
No.
You might be able to get along for a little while without watching your nutrition, but it's going to come back on you.
Catches right up to you.
And obviously, if you don't train.
Yeah.
Or if you go in and convince yourself that you are training. This is my favorite one. You know this.
Yes.
Like when you go in and convince yourself that you are training, but you aren't. Like, and that's a serious thing. And I don't want to sound crass because there is a place for people to just, go into the gym and it's good to get them just moving. But if you're going to consider yourself an athlete and a competitive athlete at that in a sport like powerlifting or anything else, going and just showing up is not enough. And I am going to harp on that because I've seen it from athletes from our side to everywhere. And they will say, well, wasn't feeling it today, but I still went into the gym and, I did 12 pounds on my flies. And it's like, okay, but it's not enough to get to where you want to be. So to me, those people just start looking for the internet sympathy. And they look for people, especially the people that like that'll post that sort of things. They look for people's support and admiration just for showing up. And that to me is a falsehood, and it's only gonna make the problem worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing if you're a person who is exercising to maintain their health or maintain their physique or maintain their level of strength. The key word there being maintain. If you just want to maintain, then realistically, yeah, given that your sleep is the same, your nutrition is roughly the same, theoretically, you could keep your workouts the same, go in and do like a 3x10 on a squat variation, do like the same accessories for similar rep schemes and stuff like that. Even using the same weight from week to week, that is still going to help you maintain your health. That what that's not going to do is yield significant aesthetic changes or significant changes to your strength.
Or even beyond that, and this is something that, some of us older guys learn the hard way, but even your mobility. When we're talking about like if you're just going in and doing the same thing, for some people, that's enough. Like some people going in and doing mobility work and stuff is enough just to get them moving. And they don't have to necessarily go and squat 400, 500, 600 pounds.
No,
they can go in.
That's very unreasonable.
It is very unreasonable.
Most people.
And it's also, for the people that are like this, because this isn't really about them. It's, for somebody who goes in and does mobility work or likes to do yoga and stuff like that, that's great. Are you going to see, but even in those types of settings, there's still linear progression.
Yes.
And it always comes
skill practice.
Even like with pole.
Yeah.
Pole, similar thing. It's not like you can go in and do the same thing over and over again. You'll never increase. You'll never get better. You'll never move on to the next level, I guess. And it's like, you could say it about any sport, baseball, soccer, whatever. If you just do the same thing over and over again, yeah, you're going to develop a good muscle memory. But without learning the next step, you're never going to get there. Without teaching your muscles that next step, you're never going to get there.
Or refining what you're already practicing.
Kind of taking it to the next level is I guess, more what we're talking about. What else do you think kind of goes with what we're talking about today? What else do you think stops people from seeing the gains or the aesthetics or anything that they wanted to see that they started out to see? We talked about nutrition a little bit, talked about sleep, talked about training. I think nutrition is very, very, very important. I've taken it for granted. A lot of people have taken it for granted a lot of times. It's not just calories in, calories out.
No.
It's way more than that. I mean, it depends on what your goals are. But I also don't like the mindset. You got to have a good relationship with food. I don't like the mindset of like, well, I'm at this party, I'm going to have a slice of cake and I'll work it off on the treadmill. Like that's not fair to yourself. I think that's generating a bad relationship with food, and that's not going to help you in seeing the goals and gains that you want mentally as well as physically.
True.
There's a whole mental aspect to this as well.
There's a time and a place for the cake.
Sure. And that's okay.
Saying no to the cake might be great for some people and healthy for some people, and saying yes to the cake might be just as healthy and necessary for other people. It just depends on where you're at in your life.
And like for me, I'm at the point where, I'm going to enjoy myself every now and then. Doesn't mean I should be shoveling down a birthday cake every day, as much as I would like to.
No, those are two very different extremes.
Or,
nothing or an entire cake every day.
I mean, some people, or a bag of Oreos.
Or a bag of Oreos.
Or Oreo ice cream, or all the fun stuff. Who doesn't love Oreos? I mean, could I shovel a bag of Oreos down every day? Yes, I absolutely could.
Totally.
Is it the right idea? No. Should I eat saltines as my dinner? Probably not. But some people do that sort of thing.
If you eat saltines and just saltines for your dinner every day, probably not going to see any results.
Probably not going to see results, especially when you then are so hungry later that you eat a sleeve of Oreos.
Yes.
To kind of counteract it.
I just feel like there's so many things other than aesthetics and strength that could be associated with this. Like, why am I not seeing results? Well, what does that mean outside of strength and aesthetics? What about an improvement in your overall health, like your cholesterol and your blood pressure?
Sure. And I think that, like, you're making a really good point. That's actually a really, really good point, because if you think about it, if you don't have that, you don't have the base for anything. If you don't have your health, you don't have the base for anything. You're not going to do well at work. You're not going to do well at home. Mentally, you're going to decline. You're going to age yourself much quicker. And that all comes down to knowing your body and knowing, I always say, you hear me say it 1,000 times, get blood work done. Get blood work done and have a checkup on the regular, because you truly don't know until you do something like that. You don't know what your body's actually missing. And it's surprising sometimes when people come back and see, like, wow, I'm really low on B vitamins or something. And it's like, well, no wonder why I'm tired. My testosterone is at 100, and maybe I'm old enough now where I have to do TRT. And These are real considerations that you need to take. And that is, so I guess as another prong here, we need to consider medically, there are definitely things that will slow your gains and progress down medically.
For sure.
Thyroid problems, you see that. And it's like, you can't, I don't care who you are, you're not going to chase that away with a caloric deficit. If you have a really bad thyroid problem, you're not going to be able to stop that. You're going to hurt yourself more by doing that.
Yeah.
And then there's always the, you can't just eat nothing. You have to eat to lose as well. So if you're in that camp,
unless you want to develop an eating disorder, then
we don't suggest that.
That's not helpful.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. And if that is something that you're dealing with, then I definitely encourage you to seek the right help.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that can hurt you for your whole life. It can throw your metabolism off for your whole life. And mentally, I don't know if it's something that people ever recover from. I've never dealt with it myself, but
I don't think so, personally, being somebody who's dealt with it for a huge part of my life. I've been in recovery for like 9 years at this point, and I think that this goes hand in hand with what we're talking about right now. Like, I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted to see when I was struggling so much with the eating disorders. So when I was struggling a lot with it, I struggled a lot with, a couple different kinds of bulimia. And one of the primary ones I struggled with was exercise induced. And I was doing a ton of cardio at the time. I was doing a lot of like light resistance training. So things like step aerobics and like kickboxing with like weights in my hands or ankle weights and stuff like that. And then when I got to college, I was still struggling, but I was kind of like getting more into like performance-based athletics. And if you want to see an improvement or results, you have to face the facts of like, hey, starving myself is not going to increase my performance in any way, shape, or form. I mean, of course, there's the sheer mental fortitude of saying like, hey, I'm going to eat 100 calories today and I'm going to run a half marathon. Like, is it possible? Yeah. But like, you probably are going to kill yourself doing that. And so for me, I realized when I got into strength training specifically, that if I wanted to see results and see changes, that I was going to have to change that behavior, and I was going to have to prioritize my nutrition. It took me a long time after that to start prioritizing my sleep as somebody who struggled with insomnia for a long time. That was, obviously very closely associated with the eating disorders. But once I started to prioritize those things and be serious about the recovery, oh my God, like you wouldn't even believe the results that I saw from that. Like I could train for way too long every day, but I was a young, spry kid in college and I was teaching group exercise at the time. And ever since then, I've prioritized my sleep for like 10 years now. I've prioritized my nutrition for real for close to 10 years now. In the last maybe 5 years, I've started taking my stress management very seriously, and I'm stronger than I've ever been. And arguably I look better than I've ever looked. And, in my personal opinion, I look stronger and I feel stronger than I ever have. So that's proof right there of, okay, well, I did all of these things that we're talking about consistently. And that doesn't mean I was perfect for 10 years. But consistently for 10 years. And look at the result that has yielded for me.
And I think that's what makes you an authority on the subject. And it's important that people hear your message, because it's such a mind fuck, I think, psychologically, to be in that mindset of, not eating or, having bulimia and dealing with that, but also knowing and having everybody around you tell you, you need to eat, and even telling yourself you need to eat. It's still, does it almost feel, I mean, and this is, I guess, a question because I haven't dealt with it, but is it almost like that thought process is instinctual and you're trying to overcome an instinct to a certain degree? Like it's a barrier. Like you think did you, when you were working out to the effect that you were when you weren't eating as much or when you were dealing with the eating disorder, do you think your goals then and now are very different?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And what were your goals like during when you were like really in it bad?
I mean, I wanted to be as light as I could possibly be. That was always my thing, was like, I had a certain aesthetic that I wanted, like a way that I wanted to look, but it wasn't really about the aesthetics. It was more about like the control and having control of this one aspect of my life when I didn't have control over anything else. Growing up, not to get into the way that I grew up or anything like that, but it was something that I really, really needed, was to be able to have control over this. And I mean, yeah, my biggest goal was the control, and to obviously, take up as little space as I possibly could so that I wouldn't be a burden to anybody, including myself.
Yeah. I mean, it's always tough to hear your story and hearing other people that talk about it. You wish you could change that for them, but like you said, you gotta want to change it yourself, and nobody's going to tell you exactly what to do. And I think, we know a lot of people that have been through eating disorders, a lot of people on, people that have been on and off our team that have dealt with it. And I think, I don't think it's taken seriously enough, because I think it flies under the radar too often.
It does.
And so
it's too easy for it to not be visible.
Exactly.
People have, when they hear eating disorder, one thing comes to mind, and that's just inaccurate. You could be anybody and be Absolutely. Struggling with it. Like literally, you could go into the grocery store and any one of those people that you see could be dealing with an eating disorder. Go into work, anybody you work with could be dealing with an eating disorder. I've seen it. I've seen
Absolutely.
all different shapes and forms of what that could look like.
And it's unfortunate that some people don't ever find their way out of it, because the end result, unfortunately, usually does becomes fatal. When you're not feeding your body enough, there are people that reach that limit, and it's rather unfortunate, because you can't, your bone density drops, your muscles and your organs, they need more nutrition to survive. Your heart's a muscle. If you're not supplying it with enough, then your heart muscle is going to start to break down, and that's, but the unfortunate thing is you could tell somebody this all day, blue in the face, and it's not going to matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So I think it's more important to hear the stories about empowerment coming out of things like eating disorders. I think that helps more than, trying to just be like, do this, you should do this, you need to do this, why are you doing no. Hearing the stories of success is more empowering. That's
why I'm such an advocate for strength training, especially strength training for people who have had eating disorders or, have them, because it's kind of like, addicts. You're always an addict. It's like you're always going to have it in the back of your mind. I mean, even 10 years later, I have to fight the instinct of the eating disorder.
We talk about it a lot.
And we talk about it a lot. And
that's okay. And that's okay. It's okay to deal with it.
It's better than keeping it inside.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about it even at like when we're out to dinner and stuff. Sometimes we discuss it, and but I think it's important on the road to recovery to have that discussion. I think it's similar to like alcoholism in a way, in that aspect, and that, if you just hide it deep down inside, eventually it's going to boil over and it's going to try and take over again.
Yeah.
They always say, like, you can't fix a problem until you admit you have it. And one way to admit having a problem is to every now and then check yourself and, have that discussion if you have the people around you that you can have that discussion with. And I think that's important as well. Again, I am not an expert on this, but I mean, human psychology being what it is, I know from my experiences with my own issues and stuff, and everybody has their own stories, that things like discussing with family and friends, they're all, if you've got the right circle around you, if you've got the right people around you, and you've surrounded yourself with the right people, is only going to help in your recovery.
Definitely.
And that is another thing I've heard time and time again. People have had to eliminate people from their groups.
Oh, 100%.
Because of the negativity that it brings into the system. So that's a very, very important message. If you guys, I know there's lots of hotlines and stuff out there, but you can always talk to your doctor. You can talk to, shoot us a message. We're not professionals in this, but we'll always help you, try to point you in the right direction if there's something that we can do. So feel free to message us. If you are somebody dealing with this sort of issue or any issue, we'll try to help anybody with anything. But that's kind of a big turn from what we initially started discussing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's important though. It's very, 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 very important.
It's the main thing is talking about the results that I saw in myself and that I have seen in other people that I've coached or other people that I know, especially within the sport of powerlifting, the results that they have gotten in overcoming and being empowered through strength to basically get addicted to the results of strength.
So replacing the addiction almost, or replacing the mindset
in a much healthier
way. I think that's important. I think that's huge. And we do see it a lot in powerlifting. Powerlifting, I think, is it's empowering. It's a very empowering sport. You can see your results. You can see yourself getting stronger, and you need to keep feeding that machine to keep getting stronger. And I think that's hugely important. That's a very, very good point. I mean, we've had people on our podcast who have dealt with this exact issue, and powerlifting was the sport that got them out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't perform. The bottom line is you start to, the first few workouts, maybe the first few months, you're kind of hating it. You're really low on energy. Mm-hmm. And then after a little while, you're like, well, I want to be better at this. I want to start to see progress here. And then you start to realize I do have to eat. And then for a while it's eating that is the focus to be able to fuel the workouts, even if it's not the best or highest quality food, whatever at that point, at that point you're dealing with eating or not eating. And then because you're eating more, then you're able to sleep better because your body is not as stressed out from literally starving. So you're getting stress reduction and sleep as a result of the eating, which is going to make the training better. Mm-hmm. And then that just compounds and compounds and compounds, and you're going to get better results.
It's amazing how the human body works. And it's just such a machine, and you got to feed it right. We even talk about this on a day-to-day level of well, did I have enough calories for my workout today? Did I have enough carbs for my workout to get my workout in today, let alone on a large scale like what you're saying? Crap, I'm going to go to the gym at 2:00 because that'll allow me to have 2 meals, 3 meals, and I'll have enough energy to get my workout in.
And what did I do yesterday? Because that's a big thing too with consistency of you'll see a lot of people kind of not really yo-yo, but their protein is inconsistent or their carbs are inconsistent, and they're not necessarily thinking about the impact that has on their performance or the impact that has on their recovery. Mm-hmm. So if you or I went to go train today, if it was in the morning or early afternoon, we're, we need some carbs and stuff in our body for today, but we're looking at what we had yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why it's important to be consistent with the quality and quantity of your carbs, and absolutely, especially with the protein as well. You want that recovery aspect to be consistent for your body to say, hey, I'm expecting this much protein so that I can recover like this.
And I think that's massively important because you got to look at it on a larger scale than just day to day as well. You have to look at the whole picture. You have to look day to day. You have to look week to week, month to month, and set your goals accordingly. But I think you're so true because you're thinking about how many carbs I had today and how many of what kind of carbs I had today. If I had pasta the night before, that's going to be lasting in my system longer than,
sugar.
Yeah, any type of sugar or candy or anything like that. It's going to be you're eating that pasta the night before to fuel yourself for the next day.
Right.
Hence why at soccer, our coaches and stuff would take us out for pasta dinners the night before a big game, and that was not just for fun. That was on purpose. So you fuel up for the next day. We all thought it was a blast and it was a hoot, but there's actual science behind it. So nutrition, very important.
Very important.
Very important. Nutrition, sleep, and the actual training itself.
Yep. Consistency.
Don't just show up. If you want to get to where you want to be, just showing up isn't enough.
Correct.
Now, showing up and doing that's different than showing up and doing the same thing every day, as we acknowledge. It depends on your goals. If your goals are to stay healthy and whatnot, then sure, that's fine. If your goals are to, grow and get stronger and be better at a sport or anything, then you're going to need to activate that progression and do more than just showing up and do more than the same thing every single day. I think we hit all the nails.
I think so.
I think we hit all the nails in the head there. What do we got coming up?
Nothing.
Yep. We are, that is not true.
No.
That is not true at all. We were, where were we this last weekend? We were in Malden, or I guess Greenville, Malden, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
We had a wonderful, wonderful meal at the Iron Hill Brewery.
Gotta love it.
And then, as tradition would dictate, after the meet, we went to Mellow Mushroom.
Yep.
We met some wonderful, wonderful people there. Our server was amazing.
So we had one lifter competing at the drug-tested Day of the Dead meet with USPA. He did really great. He went really 8 for 9.
8 for 9.
Right, 8 for 9. It was his first competition. It was his first competition. 8 for 9? Yeah, he just missed a bench. No, it was 7 for 9.
That's what I thought. I think it was 7 for 9. Still a great showing. PRs on everything. His name is Dylan. Yep. Dylan Ward. You'll be able to look him up on Open Powerlifting for his first meet. He really proud of him. He's the kind of guy that, he's kind of quiet and inward. He's an introvert, and his excitement isn't necessarily displayed on his face.
It's a lot like my excitement.
He's like, I'm excited. This is great.
This is really fun.
And like being with you, I've had to learn that that's how you are. Sometimes you're just, this is exciting. I'm like, is something fucking wrong? You're like, no, I'm really excited. Fuck, okay, Jesus. So like you just sniffed a fart or something.
Dylan is a wonderful example of everything that we've just been talking about. He's a quiet kid, but he just puts his head down. He does the work. He asks a lot of questions.
He asks a lot of questions. And that's great.
Which I can totally respect. Because that's like, kind of like how I am. Especially if I'm nervous about something or I've never done something before, I'm going to be like thinking of every possible scenario in my head. And then
texting your coach every 10 minutes. Why do I need socks? What? Why do I need a t-shirt? What? Dylan, we'll be there in 5 minutes. He was great. He was great, though. Like I said, he PR'd. He's a meet day lifter.
Yeah.
He ended up doing way more on all 3 lifts than he has done outside of competition or in a gym. So I'm very proud of him. Very, very proud of him. And I hope he sticks with it. He said he's going to do another meet. He wants to do the one in April in Savannah. Yeah. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited to keep training him.
Me too.
I'm sorry, hold on. I'm very excited to train him. This is my excited voice.
There you go.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I guess I get a little more animated sometimes. All the time. All right. I'm very animated. I have to like hold myself back or else I'd smack the microphone like out of view here because I get that animated. And I get that excited when we talk about certain things. Don't get me going on a rant. I'm about to go on a rant. You better take over.
Don't go on a
rant. Take over quick. What else?
So at this competition, we both tested for our state referees with USPA, and we both passed.
Very, very exciting.
We're both officially state level referees with the USPA. We're looking forward to doing a lot of competitions, especially in the Southeast region. So
as much as we can do.
If anybody here is watching or listening and you are lifting competitively or have been lifting competitively for a little while, you've got the lay of the land, you understand the rules and stuff like that, think about getting your referee certificate because the sport really needs it.
It really does.
It helps us put on competitions and be able to bring the sport to more people if more people are certified referees. So I don't want to say like it's easy because it's not easy, but if you've been around for a while, a lot of like the really basic rules, what they're looking for on the platform, stuff like that. It's more of like the technical side, learning the technical side that is more difficult. But I mean,
it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's totally worth it. And I'm really excited that we finally got that done.
Same. Super excited. And on that note, if you don't want to necessarily jump into your referee yet, or you want to learn more, then you can always volunteer to be a spotter loader.
Oh yeah. That's called paying your dues.
Paying your dues. You should do that anyways. If you're in the sport, don't just come, don't just literally pay and show up. I think it's important that everybody does a little bit of spot and loading, or at least help at a scoring table, or help run an event at some point, because the sport relies on volunteers.
Yep.
It absolutely relies on volunteers.
Pretty much nobody is getting paid to put on the meet. And if you go to a meet, you're going to see, like, I mean, it's an insane team of people that it takes to put it on. And
they're doing it like every weekend almost.
Like every weekend. And a lot of those people are getting like free lunch.
Yes.
You know, like, but they love the sport so much that it's
worth it.
I don't care.
I want to be immersed in it.
Talk about free food. That's a way straight to my heart. I'll be like, all right.
No problem. Especially when it's Chick-fil-A.
Tell
you.
Or pizza.
The pizza's good too. Yes, it was Chick-fil-A last time. It was. I actually didn't get any. I ate my banana. I got a little wrapped up in other stuff, I guess. But yeah, definitely do that. I mean, if you end up owning it and enjoying it, you'll end up traveling around pretty far.
Oh yeah.
To because you'll get invited, or you can ask to go and help at like nationals and worlds and things like that. You won't necessarily be able to referee at it, but you can do like scoring table. You can help out with people in the back, things like that. If you're a state referee, obviously once you get your national and international, it's a little more. Having done refereeing in USAPL, I can tell already. USPA, and we've been lifting with the USPA for quite a while, so we know about it. But it's definitely a different environment, and depending on which league you want to go with, just learn the rules. They are different in a lot of ways.
A lot of little ways.
A lot of little things.
Yeah.
And then you got the WRPF, which is like, I'm not going to get into that. I love the WRPF. I think it's a fun league.
They're a pretty squared away league. I think
they're super squared away. Super squared away.
We just happened to do an outdoor meet
in Texas.
The middle of summer in Texas
with Cowboys.
With Cowboys. That basically was the vibe. It was like this like rogue cowboy just beer at 9 a.m. type of deal.
What I always say about that competition is it's the most fun I've had getting that close to death. Because it was 106 degrees out.
It was literally 106 degrees.
Literally 106 degrees, but still, what a blast! What a blast! I love the W. I mean, we're lifting in
December
in the PPC finals at South Bay. Shout out to South Bay and Dr. Ashley, veggie lifter. Really looking forward to that meet. Really looking forward to that.
And then you're doing
Vegas,
Nevada State
Championships, Vegas on January 7th, and then we're actually going to be at the Consumer Electronics Show for a few days in Vegas, the largest event that Vegas puts on all year.
I'm excited.
I'm actually really excited about that. We get to see all the cool new shit, robots and stuff, and like neato things, and get to hang out with inventors and people. It's like that's kind of cool. And it was an honor to be invited to go do that. And so we'll be in Vegas for that. We have the team competing at the Dirty South.
Yep.
Is that the one?
Dirty South Championship in Atlanta
area.
Yep. Atlanta area on December 10th.
So we'll have gone to LA first, and then we'll be coming back and stopping in Atlanta to meet up with the team there. And I am so excited about that meet. We have 6 or 7 people.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
So excited for that meet. If you're in the area, look it up, come down, support your lifters. If you're at all interested in any type of strength sport, definitely come down and see it. It's going to be a blast.
I think Steve made a post today and saying that there's still a few spots left at that competition too. So
man, so if you haven't signed up, get on there.
Yeah.
If you want to lift, that's going to be a good meet. If you got, if you can train up and peak in 4 weeks, definitely do it. It's going to be a fun meet. It's not the largest meet, it's not the smallest meet, but they have a great media production team too.
Yeah.
So it's always a good time, and they'll have that live broadcast. And I think we know we're going in February. We're going to USAPL states, right? Yep. We're with another one
Amanda.
of our lifters. Super excited about that. She's going to absolutely destroy that competition.
She has a meet in 2 weeks.
The 12th. Mm-hmm. That's right. What meet is that?
It's a mock meet.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, I'm excited. Amanda was our first guest on the Empowerment
She
Series.
Was.
So definitely check her out, Amanda Carroll. Definitely check her out and watch that podcast. It's on YouTube and other channels as well. That was a great podcast. It was awesome interviewing her. So that's the lineup, guys. That's everything we got coming out. That's everything we've been doing. And that is the Desire of a Doubt show. I am Nate Corbusic, and with me, as always,
Savage Cat.
And we will see you
in the gym.
Bye.